What an uneventful opening round for March Madness. My God. Someone who isn't me was very hungover on Friday and struggled through the rest of the weekend, and he might still be a little bit hungover, brain's a little bit absent. Everyone did end up losing us some money, so there was some shared misery there. We'll go over the first couple rounds of March Madness. Paul Skeen's putting the team on his back with what he's been saying, and then we have a little bit of college news and a little bit of NFL news for football. And not really that much this week. I think that's about it. This one is going to be short for sure. I know I've been saying it the past couple weeks, which is a weird promise to underdeliver on the time, but this one for sure is going to be short. Let's get into number 146.
Live from Central Pennsylvania with your host Ian DiCarlo, this is Hoagies and Pierogis.
The Ski Stash! The Ski Stash! Welcome to the Big Ten. Beijers go drink, man. Let's go!
All right, like I said, no one won any money, so at least we were all connected by misery. I did end up winning some parlays on Sunday, but not while we were all hanging out, which I did end up having a great time. We did not end up going to the casino, so none of my days ended up like 9/11. If we did end up going to the casino on Friday, which I can't even get into the building, I don't have an ID, it probably would have been bad. Okay, so the first round here, I think the only bet that I won was Alabama State to cover 32.5. Auburn won 83-63. And it was actually 41-31 at halftime. Alabama State was looking pretty decent in the first half, but just very chalky. The 2 1 seeds moved on, the 2 2 seeds moved on, the 2 3 seeds, the 2 4 seeds. And this is finally where we got a little bit of an upset. McNeese beat Clemson 69-67. That busted a lot of people's brackets, but it certainly was not the first one of the day to bust mine. And that's because the literal first game of the day busted our bracket. We had Louisville beating Creighton, but Creighton ended up beating Louisville 89-75, and it was not particularly close at any point. So immediately I was like, well, shit, what are we going to do now? Like I said, everyone was riding on Drake here, so at least Drake won. They were the only upset, and also that game was not really close. They were hovering in that like 7-10 range the entire game of being up. It was never really that close. A popular upset that I had in like all of my brackets was UC San Diego over Michigan. And what does that player from UC San Diego do? Just lobs up a terrible 3 at the end of the game. They lost 68-65 to Michigan. That was also a big bracket buster for me. It was the last game of the night on Thursday, which someone who isn't me obviously did not make it to. John Calipari ended up beating Kansas and ended up moving on to beat St. John's, and that destroyed our champion. Oh my God. That was horrible. I think I had St. John's in 2 of my brackets out of the 4 that I made. UCLA crushed Utah State 72-47. Utah State was a popular pick for me in all of my brackets. And then, like I said, Creighton over Louisville, and then Gonzaga over Georgia 89-68. That one also not close at all. It was 48-27 at halftime, and I believe it was 13-0 at one point. On Friday, again, very chalky. Both Duke and Florida, the 1 seeds, won. Alabama, Michigan State, 2 seeds. Iowa State, Kentucky. Maryland, Arizona, 4 seeds. And then finally, again, another 12-seed upset. Who could have figured it out? Colorado State beat Memphis 78-70, and they were favored to win the game anyway, so that wasn't even an upset. Both the 6s won, and a lot of people had North Carolina to beat Ole Miss. New Mexico over Marquette was a popular upset that actually did end up happening. New Mexico won 75-66. Again, another one that's not very close at all. There were so many blowouts, and the upsets that did happen were just blowouts. They were not exciting games at all. Baylor, Mississippi State was probably the best game of the first round. Baylor won 75-72. And then UConn did beat Oklahoma 67-59. That was a pretty good game. Glad they moved on, but yeah, they're not moving on any further after this little outburst. We'll go over that in a second. All right, so on the second round, both the ones make it on, but like I already mentioned, this is the big upset, I think, of the tournament so far. Arkansas beat St. John's 75-66. It was close at halftime, but Arkansas kept pulling away from St. John's in the second half. Texas Tech beat Drake, which I think we were all on again in the second round, which is very unfortunate. BYU beat Wisconsin 91-89. That was a great game. I don't know if a lot of people had BYU, but we did. And that pick is alive for the Sweet 16. This is the bracket where we chose BYU over Bama. So I think that might actually happen. I'm going to bet heavy on that one. And then we actually have Ole Miss over Michigan State as well. So, that's a good parlay right there. BYU money line, Ole Miss money line. I'd jump on that. And then on Friday, Purdue ended McNeese's Cinderella run. So I don't think there are any Cinderella runs left other than Arkansas. Arkansas is the lowest seed, I think, at number 10 there. Yeah, they're the lowest seed to advance. And then on Sunday, finally, like I said, we actually did win some money. I parlayed Duke, Maryland, Michigan State, and Alabama. So thank God that won. And on Sunday, we got easily the two best games of the tournament. Real quick here, we'll go over what UConn did. UConn almost beat Florida, but it was 77-75, and UConn missed a whole bunch of threes. Dan Hurley went crazy after this loss, saying,
I hope they don't fuck you like they fucked up. I hope they don't do that to you, Maryland. I hope they don't do that to you, John.
and he was just having a meltdown. It was a crazy roller coaster of emotions. In his post-game press conference, he was crying during it.
You mentioned that tournament streak, what you guys have been able to do. What did you tell your team in there?
Just love them. I mean, just love them. This year has been a real battle. We've battled, and we've had to battle, and at times, I don't think we liked each other a whole lot. With some of the things we had to go through together, but I don't think I'll ever love a team more than how hard they fought for what we were trying to accomplish and for the honor they played with today.
And police are actually now looking into the athletic department after the director of communications told the reporter that caught Dan Hurley's rant on camera that he'd ruin his life. And in North Carolina, it's completely illegal to make any type of threat towards anyone. So I don't know if the NCAA said that they're looking at penalties of like losing scholarships over this, but come on. He just said he'd ruin his life. I mean, that's pretty far. Saying you'd ruin someone's life, that might not fly. But he didn't say he was going to kill him. But yeah, Hurley took it a little bit too far after the loss. Like I said, UConn couldn't make any threes and lost because of it.
But we've got to put together a championship team this year. I thought we could have gotten on a run. Obviously, that Florida game, which they won the game and we missed the shots and they made the shots. I mean, those are three great officials on that game. So, although I said something in heat of the moment in an area of the arena that pretty much every game I've ever coached in college has been media free. Past the tunnel, by the locker rooms, in the hallway where the coaches go. I mean, that's for the combatants. That's for the competitors. That's not for camera phones. And, just relative to that, those are three great reps. And Florida earned it. And, but it was, so.
I've always thought it was weird when someone points out the amount of times that a team has been fouled, as if it's supposed to be like as close to even as possible. Like each team is supposed to have the same amount. I don't think that's how it's supposed to work. Maybe just don't foul as much. I really don't understand bitching about the amount of free throws that each team has as if it's supposed to be even. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, people don't think of it in football like that. One team was penalized 9 times and one team was penalized 3. No one's going to complain. Well, most people aren't going to complain that the one team should have been penalized more. Unless you're the Chiefs, that really just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with UConn. That whole situation's a little bit weird. But then the best game of the tournament, and I didn't want it to be because I did have Maryland minus 8.5 in a couple different parlays, but at least I had Maryland money line. They beat Colorado State on the buzzer beater. First buzzer beater of the tournament. Let's go. Derek Queen, what a story. Freshman from Baltimore hitting that game-winning shot to send him into the Sweet 16. I know they're a number 4 seed, but that's hometown kid hitting the game-winning shot is about as Cinderella story as you can get. I might be rooting for Maryland from here on out. They play Florida in the next round, so that game might be a little bit tough. All right, so like I said, BYU does play Alabama. These games are on Thursday. That's the first game up. It's 7 o'clock. Come on, put it a little bit earlier. And then Maryland, Florida's up next, and then Arizona, Duke at 9:30, and then Arkansas, Texas Tech at 10 o'clock. Whew. All right, like I said, we have BYU. I kind of want Maryland to win, but I do believe that we have Florida moving on. That would just be good for the bracket. Yeah, we do have actually Florida over Maryland in this region. Arizona, Duke, we got Duke moving on, and then for Arkansas, Texas Tech, we obviously took St. John's, so this region is completely busted. I don't care who wins this game. It would be cool to see John Calipari win something now that he's past the first round. It would have only been funny if he lost in the first round. Now I'm kind of rooting for him to win it. I shouldn't say rooting for him to win it. I wouldn't mind if he wins it. And then next up on Friday, we got Ole Miss, Michigan State, and we do have Ole Miss beating Michigan State in the bracket. Kentucky, Tennessee. I believe we have Tennessee over Kentucky here. Yep, pick Tennessee. And then Michigan, Auburn. We have Auburn moving on. So then for Purdue and Houston, we do have Houston over Purdue, like I said earlier. So honestly, if our champion didn't lose in the last round, we'd be looking pretty solid. But there's only there's a certain limit on points that we can get here. What's my max right now? 1150. That's not terrible. I think I won the bracket pool with like 1350 the other year. So I don't know. I am tied for second in our official Homies with Missing Chromies group brackets. So there is still hope. So very chalky, very, very, very chalky outside of like Arkansas. I believe these rounds of games are going to be even better. These are the teams, I mean, they've been the top teams all year for a reason. Let's get down to business. They got a week to prepare. I hope they're good. I hope I make a little bit more money. All right, and on the women's side, outside of UConn beating their opponent by over 60 points, Juju Watkins tore her ACL. It was official on Tuesday. So that really stinks for USC, and I believe that also busted a couple of brackets. They still won that game handily. This happened pretty early. They were up like 13-2 or something when this happened. So sucks for Juju. I think she is probably like on pace to be better than Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. All right, on to some baseball. And today, when this is going out Thursday, will be opening day. Let's go. And Skeens was announced as the opening day starter against Sandy Alcantara and the Marlins. And his reaction is what we've all come to expect in such a short amount of time.
How you doing? How was your bullpen?
It was good.
Everything felt good?
Yeah.
How's your body?
Good. Really good.
No worries?
No, like barely even sore after the last outing.
Really?
Yeah. I'm moving well. Like,
Moving
it's
well?
not yeah. I wasn't expecting to be like super sore, but like kind of abnormally not sore.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's hard to believe a year ago
Yeah.
this was you pitching this, huh?
Yeah.
It's been a little bit of a whirlwind.
A little bit.
All right. But you get your first opening day start.
Wow.
Oh, congrats, brother.
Appreciate it.
There you go. Pretty cool.
Sweet.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So that's awesome. But his comments on the team needing to be better for the city are amazing and are exactly what you want to hear out of a team leader. Skeens established himself as the leader in that clubhouse after saying this. From Alex Stumpf, I think we owe something to the city. We owe a lot to the city. It's our job to go out and win for the city because this is bigger than all of us. There's a reason why Kutch keeps coming back, and specifically to Pittsburgh. There's something about the city. We saw it last summer. We've seen it in the videos of the wild card game. I'm tired of watching them because it was a wild card series. The bar needs to be set pretty high. Not taking anything from those guys. The fact that that's a golden era of recent Pirates baseball, that needs to change. We owe it to the city. Let's go. Ready to run through a brick wall for Paul Skeens. Oh, that's why we rock the Skeens stash, baby. Let's go. And I know the guys at Talking Baseball were like, oh, I see this as like a warning shot to Bob Nutting. That's like, hey, start spending money around me. You got a generational prospect. But I think Nutting would see it more of as a, yeah, let's rally the guys that we have to win games and not spend any money and be the cheapest team possible. Well, I don't see how Nutting could see this as anything different from what he's already perceived the team as being. He thinks that the team can just magically get better by itself without having to spend any money. And that I don't know how he still has faith in the staff to develop any prospect. Skeens was MLB ready coming out of college. They didn't have to do anything. So, I mean, this has been said a million times, but I just hope Bob Nutting gets his head out of his ass and tries to spend money around Paul Skeens and realizes that, like, oh, the city likes to watch a winning baseball team. I'm making more money since the Pirates are actually winning games. Who knew? I mean, those were the years of his biggest profitability were in 2013 and 2015. It's all just a bunch of bullshit, and he needs to start paying up. Oh, and speaking of Skeens, his debut patch card did sell for $1.11 million at auction. It just ended this past weekend. Well, I'll eat my words on that one. I really did not think that it would break 500,000. Livy Dunn made a good point, and this is before we all knew who bought it. A house, Paul card, check. A 5-bed, 7th-bath house in Pittsburgh goes for is currently on the market for $949,000, and the Skeens card went for almost $150,000 more. Sorry, I can't do math. That's only like $60,000. And also, Skeens' salary for 2025, $896,000. So the card was even worth more than what he's getting paid this year. That's insane. But we found out that it was not a single buyer. It was actually Dick's Sporting Goods, and I'm pretty sure that they said they were going to put it on display. You would hope that they would put it on display in a Dick's Sporting Goods in Pittsburgh, but who the hell knows? All right, I am really excited for baseball. I just made 0 notes since recording the last podcast, basically, other than that Skeens little tidbit there. Okay, and I don't know what the hell happened here, but everything crazy decided to go down after I started recording and was eating dinner. Jared Jones does not have any torn ligaments and will continue throwing after 6 weeks to be completely safe. This is quite possibly the best news for the Pirates in the past 8 years outside of drafting Skeens. Seriously, there has never been a time where a second opinion has always been better. That is insane. Jared Jones, thank you, baseball gods. I'm just glad his UCL is intact. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention that John got us another big Pirates wall schedule, so I'm going to have fun filling that out on Thursday. So let's move on to some college football. Byron Leftwich joined the Colorado staff, and that really makes me think he'll be the head coach after Deion Sanders inevitably leaves. There is no chance that they are letting him leave those doors if Deion leaves. He will be the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes if Deion is gone, which is, I don't know if it's looking increasingly likely, but we're going to have to see what happens after the draft. So, speaking of the draft, we're going to do ours probably in about 2 weeks, I think here. 2 or 3 weeks, depending on when. I think 3 weeks. 3 weeks should be totally good. That would be the week before, not the week before Easter, but a couple days before Easter. So that's exactly 1 week before the draft. So we'll get it out. Don't worry. Then transitioning into the NFL from that, Stephon Diggs has reportedly made a visit to the Patriots. There is a post on the subreddit where a guy said that Diggs was on his plane to Foxborough, and everyone thought it was a joke, like how they post the picture of, I think it's Richard Sherman at the Hertz counter. No one believed him, but reports came out that he actually was visiting the facility that next day. So that was totally true. I wouldn't mind having a veteran presence, and from all accounts, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Buffalo was really using him right. And there were really never any bad things of him coming out of Texas. So I really wouldn't mind taking the shot on Stephon Diggs, especially if he can be back right off the PUP list after week 6. Or hell, he could probably skip that altogether. Apparently his rehab's going pretty well. So I would not mind for the right price. It would have to be a 1 or 2 year deal. No more than that. No 3-year, $45 million Cooper Cup bullshit.
2 hours later.
Well, oh my God, they did just sign Diggs, and it's for 3 years, up to $69 million with $26 million guaranteed. I couldn't do math at first, and I saw that as $33 million for a year for Diggs coming off an ACL tear, and I was like, whoa, that's way too expensive. But no, it is only up to $23 million per year. Damn, I mean, if he can come back completely from the tear, this is a great deal. But if not, then it's kind of a lot of money to be spending on a player that's had some documented issues, emotional issues. But like I said, that's being a little bit blown out of proportion. And like I said earlier, he is recovering fast, so this is positive. I think I still would have preferred something shorter term and cheaper. But you know what? Since this just happened as well, this is a good move. This being the Giants just signing Russell Wilson. A huge chip just fell in the quarterback market in terms of the draft and who the Steelers will end up having. 1-year deal, $10.5 million guaranteed, up to $21 million. And now the Patriots will be fucked out of Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter because of Gerard fucking Mayo. Big fuck you to Mayo. What a shitty deal. I did hear a mock draft of the Patriots drafting Genty in this case, but that's insane that Mayo really tried to win that last game instead of starting Brissett from the start of the game. What an idiot. We could have been trading back for a king's ransom or taking Carter or Hunter. We would have had our choice to do whatever the hell we wanted, and now we're stuck in this position. Who would even want to draft back with us? My buddy just said the Bears at number 10. But who would the Bears want to take at number 10? They have number 39 and number 41 in the draft as well. So that will fill their running back or wide receiver hole. The only player that I think they would want to move up for is Genty or McMillan or Warren. Those are the only 3 players. Explosive playmakers, I think, is what they're after. And I don't know. Even the possibility of one of those players being there at 10 is still likely. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. What a shit draw for the Patriots on this one. But the Diggs deal, it makes up for it a little bit. Let's just hope that he doesn't lose a step after the ACL tear. And actually, while we were out in Pittsburgh last weekend, Aaron Rodgers was visiting the Steelers facility at the same time that we were out there. So we could have gone down there. We could have gotten in contact with him at a good time at the casino. Done some peyote or whatever, some ayahuasca. I wonder if he knows any shamans in Pittsburgh. But yeah, we are still waiting on that news, and it's taking forever. It better come before the damn draft. And also, the MLB The Show series is going pretty well right now on YouTube. I only have it out on YouTube, but it comes out every Tuesday and Saturday at 2 p.m. So episode 5 coming out this Saturday. It's going pretty well. We were drafted by the Red Sox, so that's not bad. That's probably the second best choice behind the Pirates, to be honest with you. Number 4 in the organization somehow. But it does suck, all of the top 100 prospects. I think all of the good prospects that are ahead of me are in AAA or the majors already. Yeah, the AA team stinks. Alrighty, everybody. I believe that's it for this week. Like I said, short and sweet. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hoagies and Pierogis is available wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple, etc., all that good stuff. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram for clips throughout the week, even though I did not post a clip this weekend. And we'll leave you with this. Munch.
Live from Central Pennsylvania with your host Ian DiCarlo, this is Hoagies and Pierogis.
The ski stash! The ski stash! Welcome to the Big Ten. Majors go drink, man. Let's go.